YouTube and Facebook. We're going live on like so many
We're going live everywhere. Crushing it.
Sweet.
Cool.
Did you figure it out?
Sweet. I mean, I think I'm live. I think we're live right now on Facebook.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us today for our first live. My name is Jenna Hensley, and I am a real estate agent here in Round Rock, Austin, Texas, North Austin area. I grew up here. I work with Keller Williams Realty, and Cash, who is doing this live with me, is my mortgage advisor, and he is a very, very dedicated client service-based mortgage advisor who helps people get loans. I help people find houses, and together we work as a team. So we are here today, and I just wanted to introduce myself, and I'll let Cash go next, but I wanted to thank everyone for jumping in and joining us. This is a total open forum. If you have questions, if you want to join our live, jump in. We're just kind of free-flowing today and talking about what is going on in the real estate market. There's a lot of speculation out there. We want to kind of break it down for you and let you know what's going on with rates, what's going on with inflation, and how it's affecting the real estate industry. But I'm going to let Cash kind of do an introduction so he can tell you a little bit about him and his company, Ticket Mortgage, and everything that he's up to.
Jenna, I don't know if it's yours or my internet, but one of them is breaking up pretty badly.
I don't know. Mine seems to be pretty smooth, but it could be me. I'm at the Keller Williams
Blurry on
office.
my end.
What's that?
I'm on Wi-Fi. I said you're really blurry on my end.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, I'm on a solid Wi-Fi network and no one's at the office, so I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me?
I don't know. I can hear you, but you're like breaking up really bad.
Shit.
So.
Is anyone else able to hear me? Am I breaking up for everyone else? I'm curious. Amanda, can you hear me?
Chanel, let me know if you can hear Jenna. Chanel's my niece.
Eric in Costa Rica, can you hear me?
Maybe we should try to rock.
Because everything's smooth on my end. You look smooth. I hear you. I don't know. It's still breaking up?
You can hear me smooth?
Yeah.
You're breaking up really bad on my end.
Bummer, man. I don't know what to do. There's only one Wi-Fi network here.
Well, I see you really well on my computer. It's just my phone.
Do you want to end the Instagram? I mean, we can end the Instagram live and just do the live stream.
I think maybe this time that would be a good idea.
Yeah, we only have
or maybe
one.
You just do it without me on. You just do live on your phone without me.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then you go to the computer or something. Guys,
Yeah,
this is a work in progress. We're gonna figure this out.
We're going to figure it out. It could be my internet. I'm so sorry for any technical difficulties to anyone who's watching. Cash, let's end the live. Let's go with your program, and then I'll just jump on Instagram live on my own.
Let's do this. Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, Cash.
Okay, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. We're back.
We are back.
All right, so thank you for that short break of commercials. We are now back to our show. This is Jenna Hensley, Realtor with Keller Williams Realty in Central Texas, North Austin area. I'm here with Cash, and we're going to discuss what's happening in the market, rising interest rates, inflation, how it affects the real estate market, and the shift we're seeing as professionals in the business. Cash, do you want to kind of kick it off by letting us know who you are, what you do, where you're from, who you're servicing, what all of the great things that you're doing to help people get home loans in today's market?
Absolutely, yeah. So my name's Cash Neese, and I'm a lender. I'm based in Denver, Colorado. I just barely moved here though from Austin, Texas, and I met Jenna when I lived in San Diego. So we've both been kind of bouncing all around. I do service all of the areas that I've lived. So I do loans in Texas, California, and Colorado. Soon to be Utah as well, focusing on that license. Gonna get over there because that's where I'm from. But really, yeah, I like to help people get into houses. It's really become my passion is helping people understand the process. And I've always been a numbers guy, and that's really just helped me translate into this career. And yeah, I'm excited to work with Jenna. I know that Jenna is one of the best agents that I've ever worked with, one of the best people, but agents, hands down, there's not an agent that will work harder for you than Jenna. So, absolutely someone you want to work.
Well, thank you so much for that very sweet introduction. And yes, Cash and I have a great history. We have worked together before in another industry. Both doing a lot of transactions, and it's been incredible to watch your career, watch my career. And if you guys don't know, when you're watching at home, a lender is essential in your real estate transaction just as much as a real estate agent. You have a team. You need a lender and a great realtor, and that realtor is going to introduce you to the lender. So I call Cash all the time for VA loans, first-time homeowner loans, conventional loans, FHA, whatever kind of creative financing you need to get into that house. Cash is the first phone call that I make. So if you are home shopping and you're tired of paying rent and you want to pay the same amount in a mortgage and build some equity, what we do really well is we take renters, we turn them into first-time homeowners. We help people who are downsizing, going into retirement, whatever transition you're in life. Having a solid real estate agent and a team with a great lender, whatever the situation is crucial. So Cash and I are working on some deals together in Texas. And like he said, he's licensed in Colorado and some other states. I'm actually licensed in New Mexico and Texas. So I've got experience around the country as well and have relocated many times. But today we want to focus on kind of talking about what's actually happening, because there's a lot of speculation on social media and the news, and if you don't have access to some of the databases that we do, and you're not talking to economists like we do, then you're not necessarily getting the right information. And in my professional opinion, I've been in real estate for going on 3 years as a full-time agent, but like many people, I've bought and sold. I've been watching the market for much, much longer than that. And I actually started in Oregon in 2017. So I've watched the market as long as I've been able to, know what's going on. Bought my first house when I was about 20 years old. I'm 35 now. So I've seen a little bit of change, maybe not as much as somebody who's in their 50s or 60s, but these are the people that we get to learn from. So having sat down with several lenders and Cash as well, we're all kind of concluding that, this is an interesting time because we're seeing mortgage rates going up. There's speculation. Are they going to come down? Are they going to keep going up? What is inflation doing to the real estate market, and how does it cross over? So I know Cash has some really good information on rates and what is expected. Neither one of us have a crystal ball. We don't pretend to be able to predict the future, but by looking at history, it's pretty clear that we're in a recession and that we're seeing rising interest rates to combat that recession. And what does that mean for buyers, Cash? I've got buyers who are like, look, I wanted to buy last year, but I got totally priced out of the market and I was in too many bidding wars and I couldn't afford to go that much over the asking price. But now I am personally seeing a lot of price reductions here in Austin. I'm seeing a lot more inventory. Like in the last 2 weeks, we went from, if we had sold everything on the market, we would be out of homes in 2.5 weeks, just 2 weeks ago. And today we're looking at, okay, now if we sold every home on the market today, we would have 2 months of inventory. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much inventory is adding and price reductions are coming in. So, there's a lot more inventory. There's a lot more options than there was just 2 weeks ago. So what are we telling buyers, Cash, about these rates, and how can we kind of help them understand to date the rate and marry the house and put some equity into their family instead of continuously maybe spending $25,000-$30,000 a year in rent? So that's my big question.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think a lot of consumers are too focused on interest rates when you're really missing the big picture here. So interest rates historically have been much higher than they were. People got used to, during COVID, their neighbor, their family members all getting a 2 or 3% rate. Sounds great. Right now, interest rates are more up in the fives to low six. It really depends. There's a lot of factors as well that go into your interest rate. But the main thing that people need to be focused on is more of that monthly payment and what you're comfortable with. As long as you're comfortable with that monthly payment, the rate really doesn't matter too much because it's not a forever thing. Whenever interest rates come down, you can refinance. Really, you can refinance your mortgage every 210 days if it makes sense. But the biggest thing that a lot of people miss out on is appreciation. So appreciation is the number one reason that you should buy a house, and amortization. Trying to time the market, and that's what a lot of people do, is say, hey, I want to wait a year for rates to come back down, or maybe I think prices are going to drop. You're trying to time the market, and time again, you usually are going to lose. It's like going to a casino and playing blackjack, or maybe roulette with even worse odds, right? So you go, rarely you're going to hit. Right now we're seeing price reductions, but it's not a crash. Houses were so inflated over COVID because of low inventory. People were afraid to sell their houses. They didn't want a big mob of people coming through there showing those houses, right? So that contributed to low inventory as well. Construction didn't really continue that much. We have supply chain issues. There's so many different issues that have been contributing to that low inventory. So right now people see these price drops as well as more inventory coming to the market, and they're like, get scared. But a lot of people don't understand that from 2008 to 2013, really close to no homes were built. So we need a surplus of homes in order to even get caught back up to normal. And until that happens, we're going to see home appreciation. A lot of things too that people always think of when they go to 2008 and the last big recession, big crash that happened, is the lending guidelines were a lot different. There were literally laws that were put in place since 2008 to make sure that stuff never happens.
Yeah, we are not in the bubble. We're not in the same situation by any means.
And so many people want to say we are. Many people want to say we are, and it's just not true.
And that's why I wanted to do this, because I want to debunk that. I mean, we're not in a bubble. We're not in a crisis. We went from white hot to red hot. The market, a new listing that is priced right and is attractive, is still going to go in a day. But if it is priced at last year's pricing, it's going to sit. So we are in a shift. But we're not, in my opinion, we're not in a bubble. We're not crashing. Like, prices are just adjusting to what they were maybe 3 to 5 years ago. Back to normal. Houses are going to stay on the market a month instead of going under contract in 24 hours. Instead of bidding against 30 people and going 100 over ask, you might be able to get that home for asking price. Buyers are kind of gaining back their negotiation power, but overall, like, the rental market has not changed. It's still white hot, but we're still in a red hot market. We are still in a great time to sell and a great time to buy. And like I said, we don't have a crystal ball, but Cash, what is your prediction based on what you read, based on what you know, as far as rates changing? I know that shouldn't be the focus of buyers, but somebody who was at like 3% shopping last year is now at 6%, and their mind is like, oh my gosh, this monthly payment is maybe $800 more than it would have been. And so finding that comfortable monthly payment is going to be important. But like, what do you predict? What do you think is going to happen by the end of the year with interest rates?
Yeah, so it's important to know that interest rates are caused by inflation. Or not caused, but interest rates are the direct cause of inflation.
And the inflation, just like from what I understood, it was explained to me by a very nice woman yesterday in my senior real estate designated class. She basically said, like, our president has signed a $3 trillion deficit. Like, we now owe a ton of money. We're spending so much money that these rates are to combat inflation. What do you have to say
Yeah.
to that?
So so mortgages work. Let's say mortgages are sold in what's called the secondary market to a pool of investors. These investors deal with large amounts, and there's people like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and investors like that. Well, when these investors buy a mortgage, they're buying a 30-year fixed, for example, at a 4% interest rate, right? When inflation happens, that means that they're going to make less money on that investment. So in order to recoup that, what they do is they raise the interest rates to go with inflation, because the investors still have to make their money so that they can offer these loans, right? So once inflation gets under control, they can lower those interest rates. And that brings more people into buying houses. So it's kind of like the seesaw effect that goes on. Over the next little bit of time, a lot of my clients get worried about the Fed raising federal funds rate. And I see a lot of misinformation about this as well, by real estate agents and even lenders out there. And it's a lot of fear mongering in the media. And I listen to people, economists like Barry Habib, um, uh, Ivy Zellman, all these big people, Core Logic. And that's kind of where I really trust and get my information. But over these next little bit of time, we're going to have these federal funds rate. They want to get to 3.5% by the end of the year. They lowered that down to 0 during COVID to just inject money into the economy, right? So the federal funds rate is the rate at which banks borrow money from the Fed. Sorry, I got a message. But anyway, so this is the rate at which the banks borrow money from the Fed. So as soon as inflation starts to come down, we will also see them be able to offer lower interest rates. So as the Fed keeps coming in with these federal rate hikes, we'll actually see that tame inflation. And by next year, we could see lower interest rates. So then you might get people who are going to be like, well, maybe I should just wait to buy it. Lower interest rates are going to come. Why wouldn't I just wait? Why wouldn't I get in? And the big thing here is, what are you doing with your money right now? You're throwing it away on rent every single month, right? When you have a mortgage, it's an appreciating asset. So you are making money off of the appreciation. Let's look, I just pulled this up. Let me share a quick thing with you.
I think the main thing that you're trying to point out is, like, okay, if you're spending, let's say, $2,000 to $3,000 a month on rent times 12, okay, you never get any of that money back. If you go and buy a house and you put that $20,000, $30,000 into that house, you're appreciating in value as you live there. You can go sell and make money when you're ready to move. You can get all of your money back with the equity and the mortgage payments you put in. In renting, that doesn't happen. So I coach people all day. I'm like, how much are you spending on rent? Do you know you could pay a mortgage payment that's maybe the same and then receive it back when you sell and get the appreciation value out of the house? So that's the main point here. Like, and my direct example every time is my personal life. I'm an Austinite. Okay. I've been born and raised in this town. I have seen it in the last 10 years shoot up 79% in property values in 10 years. That is astronomical. Let me give you the example. I bought a house for $220,000 in 2012, and then I sold the house a year later, and I appreciated $30,000. So I sold it for $250,000, and I made $30,000. And before that, I was a renter. I was renting an apartment on Riverside. I was renting a house in East Austin. And I never got any of that money back when I moved out of the lease. In fact, I always got the deposit stolen because I had a slumlord, But now, as my own homeowner, I sold that house. I made 30 grand. That's appreciation. So, my mortgage payment was $1,200. My rent was $1,200. What do you want to do? Own a home or continue to pay your landlord in their sleep? You're paying their mortgage. So
Absolutely.
I'm working with a renter right now who I really got through to her, and she's got kids, and it's like, how many years are you going to do this? How many years are you going to wait to buy because you're gambling on the market and you're thinking next year rates are going to go down? Well, next year home prices are going to maybe not go down, so maybe they'll level off. I wanted to get back to like predictions because I've talked to several lenders and several lenders say different things. But what I've heard as of yesterday with a lender in my office was saying, we're going to see 8, 9, 10 before the year's over. We may see 3 or 4 next year. But like, that's a totally different take than maybe cash, than maybe a lender in New Mexico, a lender in Colorado. Everyone has their own opinion. So you have got to do your research and listen to your trusted professionals. And in my opinion, as an Austinite who's watched the appreciation of homes, there is never a bad time to buy a home in Austin. You're going to continue to appreciate. It has only gone like this. We might see a little level off, but we're not going to see it go down. And that's my personal opinion, having lived here and been, buying and selling homes as a homeowner my whole life. So, Cash, tell us what we're looking at here now that you got it pulled up.
Yeah, so I wanted to pull this up. This is a real estate report card for Travis County. Sometimes their numbers can be a little bit skewed because Texas is a non-disclosure state. But still, it's all there. You could actually probably increase these numbers. So I used a median home value, 481,000. Probably is even a little bit higher than that in Travis County.
It is.
But the historical appreciation over the last 63 years has been 4.21%. So that dates back to the 1960s in Travis County, right? The forecasted appreciation over these next few years, over the next 5 years, they say it's 5.87%. That's if there gets more inventory, but with everything that's going on in Austin, I think that number is going to probably be higher, around 10 to maybe even 15, depending on really what happens. Austin saw some of the most crazy appreciation in the entire country over the past 2 years. And that's what scares a lot of buyers in that market, I feel like.
What is scary about selling your house and making $50,000 when you go to sell because it appreciated so good? Like, I made the biggest mistake of my life selling too early in Austin. I would have had $500,000 if I'd have rented that property out and had some renter pay my mortgage. So yeah, it is scary to go in and get Austin home prices. But what we're showing you is that you buy a house in Austin, you're almost guaranteed to make money on it. You just need to make sure you're getting a good value, you're getting a good house in a good area that's going to resell. And the closer to the city center, the better, Austin's
or closer to those big tech companies like East Austin right now at the Gigafactory, or up north, there's all those big tech companies buying those spots. Those home values.
Tesla, we have Dell, we have IBM. It's never ending on the tech
everything.
scene.
It's the Silicon Valley of the South. So this graph I pulled here, this is an appreciation graph, right? So I have that historical appreciation of 4.21, and then I have a custom of 10%, which I think that Austin will likely see over the next few years. So this is starting off buying a home at $625,000, right? This is 10 years, just going off of historical numbers. Sorry, it's kind of blurred there, but it's $943,000 in 10 years. So you buy a house for $625,000 in 10 years, it'll be worth $943,000, right? That's using historical appreciation, not counting everything else that's going on in Texas. That's just historical numbers. If you use a 10% appreciation, that is $1,621,000. You are almost making $1 million if it continued 10% year over year. And you very realistically, you could see that in Austin, probably for the next 5 years, right? Around 10%. I also have I'm sorry, I was going to show you. I also have this scenario. So this is renting versus buying. Again, I used a scenario of a $625,000 house. I just had a loan in Austin and it was about that price. So I thought it was pretty reasonable. This house starting off, let's see, this was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. It was nice. Wasn't anything too crazy, but renting that house, right, would probably be about $3,500 a month. I know when I moved, I just barely moved to Colorado. They tried to raise my rent in my townhome I had to 2,500. So 1,000 more. So for a single family home in a good part of town, I think is very reasonable. So I use $3,500 a month, right? Well, buying this house with 5% down and decent credit at a 5.5% interest rate, your monthly payment with taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance is going to be about $4,458. Now you got to remember in Texas too. This is for all your people in Texas. Is you have some of the highest taxes in the entire country when it comes to property taxes. You get tax breaks on everything else but property taxes. But in Texas, you have this great thing called a homestead exemption, which you can file between January and April every year, which will help lower that monthly payment also. But I just use the average tax rate of 2.3% in Texas. So that's what I have here. So your monthly payment on a $625,000 house with 5% down after everything's said and done is about $4,458 per month, right? Throughout the years, this is a 10-year example. It shows the average rental increase in Austin. Now, keep in mind, last year, my landlord tried to raise my rent about 25%. I had a fight with them a little bit. I got them down to 4%. And that was like, they're like, we don't do this for everyone. Well, this is average rental increase is 4.5%. That $3,500 house at a 4.5% increase in 10 years is going to be $5,200 to rent. And we all think like, damn, that is a lot of money. But think about how your grandparents feel with prices now, right? The value of money is changing over time. So it's going to continue. Like, it's just how it works.
Like, here's another example. I'm holding an open house in downtown East Austin this weekend. And my dad pulled up the house. He's 84. Okay. So he's grandparent age. He's like, that house was $50,000 like 20 years ago.
50,
and now
000.
it's selling for 1.2 million.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and I did a deal in New Mexico where this grandson comes to me and he says, my mother bought a property in Santa Fe for $17,000 in the 60s. And you know what we sold it for? $1.4 million. So yes, over time, values change and the value of money changes, but like appreciation in Austin is just, I can't say guaranteed because I don't hold a crystal ball. I'm not a wizard, but if you look at the history,
95% guaranteed.
If you just look at the history, look at the numbers, look at the data, listen to the stories, like understand that the locals are like, damn, we should have kept our house, because it has gone up 79% in 1 year. Rental rates have gone up. I believe the number is 49% in 1 year in Austin.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So like at one point I paid $299 a month to live right on East 6th Street. So that ever again. Those were the good days. It's hard to like go down and see people are paying $2,500, $3,500, for the same places so it's not gonna go down. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, we might level off a little bit. We might adjust back to normal. But it had to come down at some point. We couldn't just continue to raise prices of houses. Like, at some point there's an adjustment. And so what I'm feeling as far as being out in the mix of showing homes, talking to sellers, is we've got sellers who are kind of stuck in this mindset of 2021 where they want to sell at this red hot rate. They want to get as much, and it's kind of greedy, they want to get as much as they can. And of course they do. They're wanting to hit that high appreciation, cash out value. They want to get as much money as they can when they sell their house. But as things kind of level off, sellers if they don't come down, they're going to be on the market a while. And then you got buyers who are kind of hesitant. So we kind of are in a standoff. We've got buyers who are waiting for mortgage rates to come down. We've got sellers who are not going to budge. So until sellers kind of see, like, look, there's more inventory stacking, and Austin was unsustainable at going up this high, this fast. That's, bringing those house prices back down to where they should be is going to help out buyers. And I'm here to encourage buyers, like, don't wait, don't gamble, go get yourself some equity, build for your family, quit giving your money away to landlords. If you've got to rent for a while, it's understandable, but make a plan. Make a plan to get your money back. Make a plan to make some money, someday. I mean, I can't tell you how happy I was at 24 years old to cash out and make $30,000. And today I would be cashing out and making $500,000. So, I'm very excited to get buyers, back into writing offers and not getting beat out by 15 other people and selling homes for a price that they should be sold for instead of this crazy pandemic rush. And I've talked to some builders yesterday. I know of some really great communities in like the Cedar Park, Pflugerville, Georgetown, and Round Rock areas. So if you want to look into new construction, that's a really great option too. Those homes are going to be nice and new, move-in ready. And they have extremely awesome kickbacks and rates right now as well. So I mean, buying, in my opinion, it's a great time to do it right now. Absolutely. Yeah.
What I wanted to show on this graph just before I take it off is this gain in your net wealth, right? 353,000. So that's purchasing this home, 625,000 with that historical appreciation, right?
Yeah. So you're saying if somebody buys this house,
you would have made $500,000. Like that, it's just insane.
Yeah, they're gonna walk away in 10 years having made $350,000, which is just incredible. I mean,
absolutely. And right now, I think that's why it's more important than ever to work with a great agent who can negotiate for you. Some things that I've seen happen lately, because sellers are more likely to give you a seller credit. One strategy that I've been hearing and seeing is using that seller credit to buy down your interest rate. So interest rates work like the stock market, where you have a par rate. You can always buy that down. So although rates are at 5.5, you could buy it down to 3%. It just costs money. You buy it down to 4%. Or if you want to get an 8% rate, I can give you money for closing costs. It works that same way. So right now, having a great team like Jenna and myself, we can negotiate that for you and help structure your deal, whatever's going to be the most advantageous for you. You want people who are going to be able to clearly explain, and not only that, but go to bat for you. So
right now, I'm doing an open house on a listing this weekend in Round Rock, and in the MLS description, it states the seller is willing to give $10,000 as a credit for you to buy down the rate. So it's being advertised in listings right now. This particular open house, y'all know, is 5657 Pirano Circle. It's listed at $498,000. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. And I'm going to be there on Saturday from 12 to 2 showing this home. And this is a home where the seller is aware of this program where you can buy down the rate. So if you are at a 6 or a 7, you want to bring it down to a 4 or a 5. Look for these deals. Ask these questions. Have a real estate agent who understands how to do that and guide you through the lending process. That way, when I call Cash and I say, look, we want to write an offer on Pirano Circle, and they're going to take that $10,000 credit from the seller, and we'd like to use it to buy down the rate. That's going to give you a better mortgage payment. It's a really sweet deal. This house is priced to sell. There's several like it in the Round Rock area. So yes, finding an agent who knows how to do that, finding a lender who's able to do that, that's critical. But yeah, go ahead, Cash. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all good. I was just saying that also, if you there's always people who are offering seller credits, and it's important for the buyers to know that you can use those however you want. Let's say you're comfortable with that 6% rate. I have some people who are. They rather have that money to help make them get into this cost without paying anything. They pay 0 closing costs. That seller credit that they're offering, they can use towards anything they want. And that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Structuring your loan is what I do. And we just want to make sure that you are in a good spot and you're comfortable with that loan that you're getting. And we have a ton of programs, ton of options. We're going to walk you through the process. And we're going to work with Jenna, and we're going to get the job done. And, and then later on down the road, I mean, like we said, we don't have crystal balls, but historically, 4 out of the 6 last recessions, we've seen home values continue to rise and interest rates come down. Because remember, inflation is the arch nemesis here. It's not the Fed. It's not all those people raising interest rates. It's inflation. So once we can get inflation under wraps, then we can see interest rates come down. But don't miss out on the opportunities at the moment. So there are a lot of opportunities right now, which might not be there. When interest rates do come down and houses become more affordable, we could possibly see home values start to go up higher again, right? At a faster pace. So don't miss out on your opportunities.
That's what I would say. You might be waiting for this lower interest rate. Well, what's going to happen to the price of the house you want?
Yeah, if you're looking at people can afford a higher one, you know?
Right. If you're looking at a house that's like $500,000 today and you're hesitant on 6% rate, which by the way, you can refinance next year when we get back down to 3, you can get that 3%. That's why I say date the rate, marry the house, because next year, if that house is 600,000 because rates are gone down again and prices shoot back up the way we just experienced, and we still have low inventory because we can't build fast enough to catch up. You're going to miss out. So I am very much of the thought that, buying now is smart, and having a hardball negotiator is crucial to getting a good deal in any market. There is no bad market. We're either in a buyer's market or a seller's market. And we are still in a seller's market. We will not be in a buyer's market until inventory is back up, until we have enough new houses to satisfy. So, it's a great time to buy. It's a great time to sell. When will inflation go away? We're not sure. We really hope that it kind of settles out next year, but if your house price you love goes up, and what if the dream house comes on the market? So what I do really, really well is I negotiate fiercely. And I'll give you a few examples because I'm about that. I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Last year, in the middle of the peak of the market, in the squeeze of inventory, I was bringing my buyers down $10,000 and $20,000 and $30,000 off of the sale price, or getting credits back to them. And it's like, well, why would you do that, Jenna? You're paid a commission. You're paid based on the sale price. Why would you want to knock $20,000 off? Why? Because I really do care about my clients, and I want them to get the house for a proper price. And so I go to inspections. I have very tight connections with my inspectors and my vendors. And when we find problems with that house that are going to cost that buyer money, I am very forthright in writing out a full dissertation on how it's going to cost my buyer X amount of dollars. Here is the bid. That's something I do that a lot of agents don't. I'm going to attach a bid. I'm going to show you, look, the problem with that window that you thought was a quick fix is actually $8,500. And so that's not affordable now. So I want to make sure my buyer is moving into a house and they know the mortgage payment and they know all of the expenses to upkeep the house or to make those fixes. And so when I write this dissertation during negotiations, this all has to happen in about the first 2 weeks of being under contract. It's called your due diligence period. And what I do is facilitate this period, make sure you get those inspections, make sure you're aware of the problems, and then write that dissertation out of everything that's wrong and hand it over to the seller. And sometimes, and most of the time, that seller has to sell their house in order to buy the next one, or they may already be under contract to buy the next one, and they cannot move until they close that deal. So I really play hardball, and I'm like, look, I know you need to sell this house. Let's keep this deal together. Be reasonable. And I knocked $30,000 off my last deal, and it was just like, people are like, how do you do that? This is a seller's market. How are you getting these discounts for buyers? It's because I go to bat for my buyers, and I genuinely care, and I take that due diligence period very seriously. So you can see how hiring a great realtor is going to tie into hiring a great lender, because we work together so closely during your transaction. And if you want special discounts and you want to use your points in different ways and you want to use that seller credit, that all has to be communicated with not only your real estate agent, but your lender. Everyone needs to be on the same page at all times. So hiring somebody who works with a team, like I have Cash here, we're on the phone every day together talking about deals and making sure our clients are taken care of immaculately so it can close with ease and there's no surprises. If you don't move in and discover I have to pay way more than I thought, there's all these problems, I didn't get the house for a fair price, like I'm going to check in with you after that sale. How's it going? Are you liking the home? Any problems happening? I want to help you for life. It's not just a transaction for me. And I know Cash is the same. That's why we connected so well, because we've treated our customers, our clients in several industries. We work together the same. And so I think that's unparalleled. You're not going to find every real estate agent out there who's going to do that for you, who's going to go to bat for you. And you're not going to find every real estate agent having such a solid connection with a lender who truly cares the same. So I just wanted to thank everyone for joining us today and talking to us about what we do, what's going on in our market here in Austin, Texas, how interest rates are being affected by inflation. And we want you to know that we're here to serve you. At any time of the day, you can text me, you can email me. My name is Jenna Hensley. My cell is 512-429-8198. I'm here at Keller Williams in Round Rock, Texas, but I service Austin and the greater Austin area. I've had homes in South Austin, North Austin, and I know these streets like the back of my hand. So I would be delighted to show you around, show you what's out there. Inventory is increasing, so it's truly a great time to be a buyer. Go check things out. Get yourself under contract, refinance next year when we see 3%, if we see 3%, and get the house now before it appreciates and you can't afford it next year. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. And I just wanted to thank everyone for being here today. I think I've said everything I want to say. Cash, you want to wrap up for us?
Absolutely. So I just want to double down on everything that you said. I really enjoy working with Jenna. She's one of the best that I know. Here's her information at the bottom. If you want to contact her, make sure you reach out to her. She'll let you know how to contact me. If you guys found any value out of this video, we're going to try to start doing these every other week. We're going to give you some different updates about different programs, market conditions, anything you really want to know. In the comments, please let us know that you saw the video so that we know it's working. This is the first time we've done this, so we have technical difficulties that we're working through. So drop me a comment below and just let me know if you were even here and if you were able to see it. So then next time we can make sure and we keep perfecting this. Eventually it's going to be a show that you won't turn off. You don't want to turn off.
Yeah, and just while we're talking technical difficulties, the scroll below, it's Jenna.Hensley at KW. Okay. Just so y'all know how to reach me by email. The phone number is correct. I can fix that. I thought but yeah, we want to keep this rolling. So we want to know what your thoughts are. Please give us feedback. We're going to chat about, inventory, marketing, ways to write offers. We're going to talk about customer reviews and different types of homes and whatever you guys are interested in. We want to keep open forum. We'd love your feedback, and we would love to make this a weekly or bi-weekly live feed talking about things that you care about, that matter in your market, that are pertinent here in Austin, Texas, or in Denver, Colorado. Please contact me.
Anywhere in the country, really. We just want to talk to people about real estate.
Cash and I lived in San Diego. We happen to know a lot about San Diego real estate. Are you calling me? Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. It's been really, really fun, and I look forward to doing the next live video with you, Cash. You are an awesome lender and a great resource for me and my clients. So thank you so much for spending your evening with me.
Absolutely. And everyone, Jenna just got certified as a senior specialist too. So send all your grandparents and everyone to her. She is an expert in that field, and we can help out people. So let's make it happen. Anyways.
Absolutely. I'm here to help you move on to the next chapter, whatever that may be. I'm very excited to be a part of your life and your real estate. So thank you for giving me a shot. Thank you for recommending me, Cash. Your referrals mean the world to me. And every time I get to talk to your clients, we get on so greatly. So if you are a millennial like Cash and I, there is no other team for you. We are your people. We would love to help you. Gen X is 10% of the market right now. So we really want to help people get into homes, and that's what we do best. Thank you guys for joining us today, and we will see you again in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Everyone have a great week. Don't get scared by the media. Always call your advisors.
Absolutely. We're here for you. Day or night, send me a text, give me a call, shoot me an email. I love what I do. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.